Okay, here we are. Welcome back to my channel, guys. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by a special guest. He's talked a little bit about it. Daniel Phillips is here, guys. He's in the US. He's an Arsenal fan, a gooner. I'm going to let him say a few words, introduce himself, and then get right into it and talk about what's going on in the transfer market at the moment with Arsenal. So I let him introduce himself. Take it away, Daniel.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, old school. My name is Dan Phillips, man. I've been an Arsenal fan since I was 9 years old. I'm here in the States. Given an American take on football, I do some writings and some columns, starting up a YouTube channel soon. Also, just wanted to get, a little bit more of a start in the media industry. So support my channel a lot. So, ask me anything. I'm always around. That's actually my Instagram too, as well. My user tag just with an 1886 instead of 1986. So link it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that was very good. Let's just get straight into it. I think we'll start by talking about Arsenal's trip to the US, which has been cancelled. I don't know, did you hear that news? I know you were
I
working up
did.
until now. You
Yeah,
heard
I
about
did.
that? A couple
I
of the
did.
players have got COVID.
Yeah, it's a good start to the season. It's always something that the U.S. Has really, we're able to see that on our side. So when we heard about it here, it was sad. Inter Milan, having some good competition with Inter, and then all the other teams that were involved too. It would have been a really fun tournament just to see it, just to have it come out. But unfortunately, they didn't let it go.
Yeah, of course. No, a couple of the players have got COVID, so
Yeah,
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 it's a no.
it's a
It's
tough thing. Tough thing
this is
right
a
now.
bad
But
time
I
for
think
football. It's a
we're in
bad
good
time for
shape.
everybody, not just for.
Oh, sorry.
Let's just yeah.
Yeah, I'm still here. Froze up a little bit. Sorry about
Oh yeah, it's the internet connection is not so good right now. Anyway, um, let's talk about some of the signings, some of the new. Alfred, Sambi, of course, most recent signing.
that. I'm very pleased with him. I watched the Bundesliga as
He's
well.
a
Yeah, he's a terrific boy.
okay.
He's he's quick on the ball. Very good passer of the ball. Kind of feels what we were looking for with that Ramsey look. Where we could run
Uh,
into different formations with him. He could play as a six. He could
uh,
play as an eight. I see good things with the boy. I want to give him some time, settle in. Let him get the first feel of a couple preseason games. Especially something where he gets some good time with us and learns to integrate into the squad.
yeah, he looks a good player. I'm happy with him. It's a good purchase, a good signing by the club. We need midfielders because what we have is not so good right now.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with it. I've been impressed with the signings they've done recently. I'm going to move on to the big signing, the big player. Of course, for me, the biggest player was Ben White. He has Premier
Yeah.
League experience, very good player. Gareth Southgate, the England manager, rates him very highly, so that's good enough for me. 50 million maybe costs a little bit too much, but in today's game, you have to stump up the cash to get the player you want. You're not going to get him that cheap. He was the best player in his position in the Premier League last season, without a doubt. So he's going to make a big difference to our defense. What do you think of him? You like him? You know much about the player?
I've seen him play a little bit for Brighton. I enjoy some of his games here and there. He looks to be a good front-footed center back who likes to really put the ball on a plate to his other players. That's
Yeah,
something on his game that he's going to have to really learn well with Arteta's system, because you
yeah,
have to be able to play ball to feet really fast. And I think with him being as big as he is, partnering up with Gabriel, young Premier League experience, good international, couple caps. I think he's okay. I was skeptical at first with the 50 million. I was like, a little too many euros for him. But could we do better right now? Yes, but we need players that have that want to fight for the badge and are here and are attracted
yeah.
to
Of course.
Arsenal. that's what we need. We need players that are attracted to us, that come to us, not someone who wants to be here half in and half out. So
yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Of course, he's a very good player. I'm very happy we're after signing him. He'll make a big difference to the defense, and he also thinks forward attack. He plays passes into the midfield. He gets things going. He's a good young player. Of course, he's fit. He hasn't had any serious injuries.
no.
He's on holiday at the moment. As soon as he comes back, he's going to get a medical done, and then he'll be with the team.
Yeah, definitely exciting. I think it'll be good for us.
Flores from Benfica.
Yeah. Strong backup for Tierney. Strong. I think that with the way that he positions during that game, you watch him creating passes, running up and down the flank, supporting, that left side, kind of the same thing that Tierney does on that side. I think he can honestly do with his right. I think we should put him on the right side and see what he can do. We've been dying out for that right back position that needs with someone pacey and who can defend. And right now, the boy looks like he can do the job. He can go back. He tracks back with the ball. He's able to drive forward, and he's
physically strong. Yeah, he's physically strong.
Yeah, big lad. Just
not,
and he's not. He doesn't get shoved off the ball easily, and that's what we need. Somebody who can drive forward, take that through, and put that ball into the box and deliver it with pace. We haven't had that from the right side in about 3 years, and we need
Bellerin. We had Hector Bellerin. I'm not going to talk about him now because he doesn't. He hasn't earned it.
No.
Where do I start? He's a model. That's cool.
I wish PSG would have taken him. He could have went to Paris. Got some new fashion prints, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I think Inter Milan are looking at him.
Yeah. With Hakimi with Hakimi gone to PSG, I think that's a good move for them. I think the Italian game would suit him. Slower paced Italian game would suit him.
Did you watch much of the Euros? Did you like it? The European Championships?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Watched in the US.
Yeah, I loved all the games.
Popular.
Very popular. I was very impressed with that.
I liked Italy.
I'm sorry, excuse me, Denmark. Sorry, I think I missed you there. I was really impressed with Denmark. A lot of yeah.
They had a very bad start. They had very bad luck with Christian Eriksen and his heart attack. But after that, they played with this man. I'm not talking about the Arsenal crest. I'm talking about.
Yeah. They did, and you see the heart in that team, And
sorry, I know it's breaking a little bit, but Denmark have a great team, and
you see the heart in that team, man, and it was a beautiful thing to see. I wish Xhaka would play like that for the club.
The whole country got behind Denmark. All the players, all the coaching staff, everybody was giving everything out there. Nobody was thinking of anything else. Respected him. They did very well. They could have got to the final. They could have won it. They were a bit unlucky. They were a bit unlucky against England, to be honest. They have a good team. Let's talk a little bit about Mikel Arteta. Do you like Arteta? Give him as a manager. I mean, speak openly. I respect everyone's opinions. What do you think of Arteta? You like him?
This is, it's a loaded question for me. It's not that I don't like Mikel. I think Mikel has great intentions for the club, but right now we don't have the resources that he needs to be successful. And what I mean by that is we have 14 players on the wage bill right now who are fed lions. And when I say fed lions, I mean they're satisfied. They don't want to go out and play defense. They don't want to go out and drive the ball forward. They are content in a system that gets them paid. And that's okay. But we don't need players like that. We need players that want to be here. And us to have that to get back to where we need to be, we have to make decisions that are business decisions. We as Arsenal Football Club have we hang on to players a little too long. and then we never get a profit for them in the transfer market, which is probably
Yeah.
our biggest. We need to run our club like a business. When Arsene had it, he never had the money, but he always had the ability of players to make them, look at play, be like, I want to play here. It's attractive to play here. They play beautiful football. We need to get back to that point where the ambition is driving the club, not so much the money, driving. We need that ambition there now, because right now we don't have that. But I think he's a good coach.
We don't have a leader. We don't have a leader either. Right? There's no kind of leader in the team.
No clear leader at all. And I think
we're lacking quality in the midfield and maybe in the forwards with respect to Aubameyang. I like Aubameyang, but we're lacking a bit of quality in the midfield and maybe in the forwards. Robin van Persie, that's the kind of player I'm talking about. We need a player like that, that can hit at least 20 goals regularly a season, that can have an impact in the big games. The huge games, Liverpool, United, Chelsea, Man City. We need someone that can scare their defense. We don't have anyone that is imposing and intimidating. That can really rattle their defense, put them under extreme pressure. Like Didier Drogba, I hate to say a Chelsea player, but Didier Drogba back in the day, he was a man that could do that. Right. We need a player like that, an incredible forward. That's what we need.
Right.
Man. Anyway, but luckily, we got Lokonga in the midfield. It's not going to be too bad for us now. The defense, it seems to be getting there. We have a couple of good players. The midfield, but we definitely need a forward. We definitely need a powerful and an attacking midfielder. And like you said, though, I think that's a fair point about Arteta. I'm not his biggest fan. I'm not going to lie. I'm not his biggest fan. But he definitely doesn't have the players at his disposal. He has Saka. Saka is a wonderful player. He has Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe is good. Pepe is coming along, but he definitely needs a few more players. He needs maybe the back end of the board. He needs at least another 100 million to get the players he needs.
Exactly.
And we need to sell the players that we don't want, because we have a problem with kind of offloading them now, because the fact is no one else wants them. Not really. We have a couple of average players in the squad, and I'm not going to name names because I've been doing it all along, but the players I'm talking about. We need to kind of offload them, get money for them, get something for them, and the team has been in a little decline for a long time. I'm not going to go into the whole negative side of it, but I'm going to ask you, what did you think about the friendly matches? Did you see them? The 2 games against Hibernian and Glasgow Rangers in Scotland.
I've got a lot of things to say about those games.
Okay, here we go.
I feel, especially the Hibernian one, that game just is so frustrating. Why are we letting Kolasinac back into the team when he's
not good? He's not good.
The man has the touch of a brick wall, and then we play Willian, who doesn't want to be here. Play the kids. Play the kids. Play the kids who have some ambition, who want to get out there on the pitch. Play the kids. Put the kids forward and let them go. Did
you hear the story about Willian? Why he wanted to stay in London and why he came to Arsenal? You hear the story about that? He has a restaurant. He has a restaurant in London, believe it or not, and all his buddies are from London. So it was nice for his social life to stay in London. He doesn't put in a shift when he plays.
No.
He doesn't do the business. He's like a Chelsea agent. We always get the players that Chelsea don't want. Okay, David Luiz, he wasn't that bad. Peter Cech was okay. But Willian, my God, he always...
Dreadful.
What is he doing? Awful. Mikel Arteta is in love with him. Loves that player. He plays him above everybody else in the team. He'll pick. Okay. Did you hear my question about the Scottish teams?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. You cut out there.
Okay, break up. What did you think about Hibernian, Glasgow Rangers, the 2
I enjoyed the games. It's good to get us out there. It's good to get out there, and see what we're looking at next season. Even if they're, not playing exactly with our starting squad, I wanted to see more of the kids. I wanted to see an involvement with the kids.
They're playing a lot of the guys that we want to that aren't going to be featuring for the club. I can't understand that. And the defense was very bad. The defense was bad. The second game were interesting against Glasgow Rangers. They're the Scottish champions. They have a team. Rangers actually have a good team. But I was definitely impressed with Nuno Tavares, and he had a very good goal. He's so strong. It's unbelievable how strong he is. His strength is just... I was shocked when I saw him. He didn't look that big. I saw him playing in the Champions League last season. He didn't look that big. But I saw him.
He's put the work in, man, as far as, the offseason. That he wanted the Premier League move, and he got his move, and he came here. He made an impact from the start. It's going to be very hard for Arteta not to pick the man and at least give him a shot on the right. Because right now we've got players in waiting on the right. We have Cedric, we have Chambers, we've got Maitland-Niles, we've got 3 or 4 different guys that can play in this position, but we haven't nailed them down to either are you going to stay or are you going to go? We need to make those decisions now because it's coming around.
That's true. And also with the transfers, I mean, I had a live stream with somebody a few days ago, and I'm going to say the same thing to you as I said to him. I was with another Arsenal fan, Arsenal Alex. He's in London, but I'll say the same thing to you what I said to him now. If you and me were the managers, you can be sure before the end of last season, not now, not a week ago, well before the end of last season, we would have at least 5 or 6 players that we're interested in that we think can do the job for the team. And we would have had kind of contact. We would have been trying to contact them as soon as the season was over. We would already know the players that we need to fit the different positions. Arsenal were very slow for a while, and they bought a couple of players now, but it seems like they're a bit slow at that. Like, you should already know by the end of the season.
It's always a panic buy situation. It's a panic buy situation. 31st August.
I agree with you. That's what I was going to say. It's like a knee-jerk reaction. Wow, we need to get someone in. I mean, I don't know what you think about the takeover bid from the Spotify owner, Daniel Ek. He was looking to take over the club, I mean, he was going to put in a lot of money. I think maybe that changed things around in Kroenke's mind. The owner, I mean, you probably know more about Kroenke than us over here. Well, I'm actually American now, but over in Europe, you probably know more about Kroenke. Of course, he's an American businessman. He owns a team in the United States, I think, an American football team.
He owns 3 teams. He owns a hockey team, a baseball team, and a football team. American football team.
Okay, and what kind of guy is he? Because in London, he's not even on the radar. No one sees him.
He's not a great guy here. He is a very shrewd businessman. He made a lot of his money through just very bad deals as far as, sports franchises and real estate. I wouldn't say that he's a great guy. He's a guy that he's just a capitalist, man. That's what it is. He's a guy that, he's not for a club he doesn't want to buy a club to, invest and put money and time and people in the right places and make those people successful. He's a man that says, what's my profit from this club? What can I get?
What's the profit margin?
He looks at our sport like horse racing, like it's the sports of sultans for him. That's how he looks at it. It's a horse racing sport, man. He's not a football man. He never will be. He never wanted us to advance. He wanted Arsenal as a show horse, and that's what we are to him.
Yeah. He has a lot of teams. I didn't realize he had so many teams in the US. You see, he's very quiet. He's very quiet with Arsenal. No one knows much about him. You know what I mean? But I'm hoping that takeover bid would go through. But I really am heart to hearts.
I hope so too, man. I mean, it was sad to see, some of the old legends get behind it and it falls short. And that really hurts. Seeing Thierry Henry, who was one of my favorite, one of the reasons why I still love the game today, and just you see these players that are trying their hardest to get a change, something, a culture, something to get behind, something to get excited about, and we haven't been excited, I don't think, since 2015. I don't think we've been really excited to where we were winning football matches and doing it convincingly. We never wondered if we were gonna lose to Burnley. Ever. When in the history of Arsenal Football Club, were we worried about losing to Burnley besides back in 74?
That's true. The player that got me excited was I'm not really a fan of the way he left the club, but the player that got me excited the last time was Alexis Sanchez. He was such a good player, Alexis. Yeah. The way he left the club, but he was a great player. I mean, I saw him play. I saw him play in the Champions League, and he's an incredible player. Unbelievable talent. When he was at Arsenal, when he went to Man United, he had an absolute nightmare. I don't know what was going on out there. I think he scored 1 goal all season, and then he left. So poor Alexis, but that's what happens. Let me see. Okay, let me talk about one of the Arsenal legends. He's after becoming a manager of a London club, Crystal Palace. I'm talking about, of course, Patrick Vieira. What are your thoughts on that? Were you surprised? I mean, why didn't he come to Arsenal? That was my first thought. Why didn't he come to Arsenal? Because we're a London club. Man, we lost out there big time. I would take him. I would take Patrick Vieira tomorrow. He's a club legend.
I love him too, but here's the one thing that I didn't want to happen to Patrick. I didn't want him to have the same situation that Lampard had at Chelsea. That, he comes in, his legacy gets diminished after you lose a game or one, you lost a game or two. Yeah. And our fans, we don't have that patience yet. We've been through too much. We're like, it's a bad break. We're like, it's a bad break. We have no patience left. We have Kroenke. We got, this mismanaged, board. We're like, hey, man, look, you got one more time, one more thing to do, and it's over. Yeah. I'm happy that he went to Palace. It's a good nurturing environment where he could learn to, ply his trade and win some football matches. Win some football matches with some young lads who genuinely want to play for that badge. Because Palace is not an easy team to play for. They're perennially 10th, 11th place. Sometimes they get down into, the danger zone. They get to the bottom 4. Yeah. But, they play good football. And, I think that with a little bit of grit behind them, they can win some matches,
Yeah. He's gone in straight away, right from the start. He's in the news. He's on the media. He's making his impression felt. He's not as quiet as Mikel Arteta or any of the other managers. He's already on the training ground, letting the news crews come in, see him doing what he's doing with the players. And he's building a real rapport with the players. And he's building a real kind of sense of belonging and that it's going to be positive and that they can do stuff. So straight away, he's gone in and he's doing that. I think he was in the management setup somewhere along the lines like assistant, I think at New York City Football Club. I think that's where he was for a while.
Yeah,
he has some experience. He has experience. Obviously, he's a club legend. I mean, I have so much time for the guy. As soon as I heard his name and that he was coming back and that he was managing a club, I was happy for him because I couldn't say enough good things about the guy. He's a winner. He gave his best for it. And he never looked at other clubs or tried to get a deal with United or those else. Honest with the coach. He's so talented. He was such an incredible player.
Incredible.
For him. It's going to be very interesting when we play the Palace. It'll be very interesting. I'm looking for him. He's a guy. He's a great talent. Let's see. Our Premier League matches, we can just cover that. Our first game, as you probably know, is away to Brentford. Our second game is home to Chelsea. And our third game is away to, of course, the champions, Manchester City. What do you think of that for 3-star? I mean, it's going to be a very tough. I mean, all those games are tough if you ask me. The first game is always hard. And then we've got Chelsea, and then we've got City. I mean, home advantage now, really, because of COVID, is gone window. Home advantage against City doesn't count for much because, it's not like a home atmosphere. It's not like a home game. It's tough. That's a very tough start for me. I think Manchester City, that's going to be a very hard game. They have a really good team. How do you see that going?
Yeah, I think we win 2 out of 3 of those. I tell you that Brentford, is a great team.
Win 2 out of 3. Wow.
I think so.
I like optimism.
Yeah, Brentford was a good team, but I think that they're going to fall the first time playing in the Premier League. They're just going to come at us hard, attack out the gate. They have that front three that's really, really fast paced. They play really quick, one-touch football that just gets you out there, and they want to get the ball forward. They want to come and score. Yeah. They're a very, very well-organized team, and we need to be watching them.
They are.
To be able, one, to play a tight midfield, 2, be able to release our forwards and, beat on the counterattack. That's the way we're going to beat Brentford. As far as Chelsea, I think if we honestly play a little bit more possession than what we've been doing, slow the game down a bit with Chelsea, make them come to us. That's how we beat Chelsea. If you look at the games that we've been successful with against Chelsea in the past, we play a slower football. We build up a possession. We get a good base going. We play our Arsenal football that is possession-based but also exciting. We move the ball forward. We keep going. That's the football that's attractive that we want to play. And I like that. When we're shooting, I don't care if you miss, just make, something on target.
You're trying
18
an
shots
effort.
And not make targets. City, I don't see us getting past City. I just don't. And I see us having a great first half, but the way that City beats us is we beat ourselves. We make bad mistakes in the midfield. We start to give the ball away, and we attempt to try to do too much. What I would like to see with our goalie this year, what I would like to see with Leno, when we are playing teams against the Big Six, get the ball out on the wings. I'm tired of seeing him play possession ball right back, playing single straight passes to Gabriel, a single straight pass to
dangerous
Pablo
stuff.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous ball.
Stuff. Because the Man City forwards even, there's just one example. You mean, of course, the whole season he needs to play it out, but Man City's forwards, they play in between the lines.
Right.
If one of the passes is misplaced, they're in behind. I mean, they're always looking to get in behind. I mean, Riyad Mahrez, he's got pace to burn. And he's not the only one. They're always looking just to get into the space. As soon as we make a mistake, they're in. And I mean, there's not much the goalie can do then when he's like 6 yards out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can finish. It's like you say, we always play the ball too much to feet right into the centre-back's feet. Some of them get a little bit careless, They're a little bit careless, but the Man City players are clever. They're playing in between the lines. You have to be in the right position. To be honest, we don't kick the ball out enough. We need to kick the ball out sometimes. No. We're always trying to play it. Sometimes just kick it long, and like you said, try to get it to the wing. We're always trying to play. We don't have the players to play like Barcelona. No. We don't have those kind of players that can play the ball to feet. Like, with respect to our team. And even then, when we get it into the midfield, it's kind of hurried. And, man, it's Manchester City are going to, I mean, if we play like that, we're going to get, it could be a very, very tough 90 minutes. And it could be a relearning curve for me to look at once again, because City have a very good team, a very, very good team. And no one can exploit them.
It's a monstrous team. When you look at that team, you look at that front three, you see Sterling, you see, the departure of Aguero. I mean, you see De Jesus, you see, on the left, there's a roaming left. It's everybody. You got Foden. There's so many weapons in that squad.
You have De Bruyne. You have Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, there's weapons everywhere. And
you have Gabriel. You have Gabriel Jesus. I think Gabriel Jesus is still in the forwards, and he's back and he's hungry. He wants to score. He's out for a while. He's up for it.
Yeah, he wants to prove. The man he's been there for a while. That was someone who I thought that we should have been looking at as a proven striker. Someone who could have been, a cheap, cheap, durable option to keep us and to, play that 9. I love Lacazette. I love what he does, but we need a dynamic goal scorer. We need somebody who's going to be able to put shots on target all game long. Throughout that first minute to the 65th minute to 70 minutes when we substitute off.
Premier League experience is important.
Say that one more time.
That experience in the Premier League, and it's important.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
Yeah, sorry, you're breaking up a little bit. Sorry, the connection. I said he's got Premier League experience. He doesn't need 6 months or 3 months to settle into the team. No. He's already got experience, and the Premier League is a very hard league. So to get that experience, to get a player like we did with Ben White that has Premier League experience, that's worth its weight in gold because he can just settle into the team, and he knows also the opposition teams. He knows the opposition players. He's played them for a couple of seasons. It's very good if we get a player with Premier League experience and all that we can get because, I'm going to ask, I'm just going to finish up with this question.
Sure.
And we can talk about anything else you want after that. But where do you think we're going to finish in the league? You think we're going to get top 4? You think we're going to get top 6?
I think
Champions League football?
I think we'll be top 6. I think we'll finish around 5th place this year.
Okay.
I think we get back into Europe. I think we have those ambitions again. We're looking to be hungry. We don't need much right now. We just need to be proactive before the end of this window. We need to be proactive now. We don't need to be, sitting on our hands, towards the tail end of July. We've got 11 days left in this month. We need to be making dynamic push for players right now. Make those calls. Get on the phone. Get OR in. Get a creator in. Get someone who can be a maestro, who can pull the strings and create from the middle and get the kind of football going that we need again. Somebody who's going to be dynamic with, in the middle, and we need an upfront threat, like you said before. Aubameyang and Lacazette, I love them both. But at this point in time, they're not shooting well. 10 to 11 goals a season isn't going to cut it. From either side. You pay a man 300,
we don't score enough goals. We don't score enough goals.
No.
Mostly we score maximum 2 goals. Maximum 2. It's not enough. It's not enough to win the games against the better teams. We're not scoring enough goals. Absolutely not. It's been like a constant problem for us. Yeah. I think a lot of the things you said are true. I agree with it. We definitely need to, it's going to be, the fact that we missed out on European football last season, that's what I was going to say. The fact that we missed out on it, I think it's after giving the board and maybe Arteta a bit of a jump, and they need to do something. They need to realize it. They missed out on European football. That was a blow to everybody. It was the first time, I think, in 25 seasons.
25 seasons, first time, yeah. And, that's a tough pill to swallow, man. You look at something where we are a club of not only just tradition, we're a club of winning. And people can say what they want about, the Arsenal the failures. But when we first lose, you talk about us. you don't talk about anybody else. They talk about us. We're always the ones in the media that are pushed, far beyond any club. That shows we're big.
That's true. It's true. It's going to be an interesting season, definitely. I'm looking forward to it. I hope we can get back into Europe. I hope we can get European football. It's going to be a challenge. It is not going to be easy. But the one game, I'm just going to talk a little bit about one match last season. I'm just going to finish on this, and I want to know your opinion on it. The Europa League semi-final game against Unai Emery, against Villarreal. The second leg in London, we were still in the game. It was level. That was the worst performance I've seen from the team in 15 years. Yeah. And I'm not joking about that. You saw that game, I imagine. It was unbelievably bad. The performance was absolutely soulless, spineless, heartless. And I was on my channel 2 days ago. I'm not going to pick on the younger players because Saka and Smith Rowe have carried us last season.
Yeah.
They got us the 8th place finish. They were the ones that were doing the business when we were struggling, the younger players. I'm not going to talk about them. But Arteta and the more experienced players, we didn't fight. We didn't try. Even one goal would have changed the game. If we just managed to score, even if we didn't hold out, at least put the ball in the net. We couldn't even muster one goal. That for me was the worst performance. And it's not because I have a big ego, and it's not because I have us covered in glory. We're not going to be covered in glory if we win the league. It's the Champions League. If we won the Champions League, different story. I wasn't thinking of myself, but the performance, just that one game, it doesn't matter if it was quarterfinal, semi-final. The performance in that match, man, it was the worst performance I've seen in a long, long time. I mean, it was completely, you saw it. I mean, what did you think of that game? It was terrible, right?
Wow. It was not only terrible, it was just spineless. That's what really, it hurts more than anything. You look at the former coach doing the business against us, and then you sit there and you have the fans that sit back and say, well, he was doing the same thing. Were we better?
We got rid of him. We got rid of him, and he came back and he proved the point.
Fair play to the man for
respect to him.
But the way that they beat us, that a lot of people don't think, and they never ever look into this. They beat us by playing counterattack football. That's what they beat us. They beat us in the counterattack. They beat us a lot of places, but the number one thing I noticed in both games, we were lazy in the midfield. So lazy. Lazy. Every bit of it, from passing, from possession, from defense to protection of the ball, just lazy. Every bit of that part of the game was lazy. And with no distribution in the midfield, you can't play a football match like that. There's no part of football that is going to say, okay, well, I'm going to sit here with the ball. I'm going to lose it 8 times out of 10, but I'm not going to go back and track back with my man. Mm-hmm. You don't win games like that.
Yeah. And Villarreal, in fairness, they weren't a big team. No. I don't know if you noticed. They had a lot of big players. They were physically tall. They were like 6'3", 6'4". Yeah. Man, they had some monsters in the midfield. I mean, they were just huge guys. They could head the ball. They could tackle. They could shoot. They could pass.
And play the ball.
They were very physical. I mean, and we were just they just made mincemeat of us, man. We just got. And in the second game, okay, they were better than us. They had us. We were up against it. But there was definitely a lack of invention and a lack of pace. I mean, the only way you can get around them is trying to get it wide and stretch them. Because we were playing in 2 channels up the middle. Everything was going through the middle. I mean, that's playing into their hands. It was easy for them. You have to get the ball wide. At least get the ball wide and try to stretch them. You know what I mean? There was no kind of killer pass out to the wing and then a little ball in behind and we run and try to get in. Everything was playing in front of them, and they had 2 banks of 4. They had 4 and 4, and the two strikers were tucked in, and they were content to just be like this, and they were just, man, get the ball wide. I mean, they didn't. There was no invention. And Arteta, the one thing I'll say about him, okay, he might not have the players at his disposal at the moment, but he was very muted on the sideline, and he was very quiet. If I saw that after 15 minutes, I would have changed something. Because they had us. It was already settling into like a formation and a shape, and the game got a pattern. And they were never under pressure. We never really put them under any kind of pressure.
Nothing.
No. That's what I saw.
I want more of, when you go back to that game, I look at one player who makes a difference there. Martinelli.
Yeah.
Why not play the boy? Let him create a little bit from that side.
Yeah. What did he ever do wrong? You know what I mean? What did he ever do wrong? He's a wonderful player. He's got pace to burn, and he cracks the ball in. And he looks at the goal, he takes one touch, and he lets fly. That's how you score goals. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's got a good... It was our only chance. It was our only chance to get back to Europe. That was our way back in Europe. You know what I mean? It's not like there was no motivation for the next season. It was our chance to get back into Europe if we won. Okay, we might have beaten United in the final, but at least try. But that was our one way to get European football for this season. I mean, it's not like there was no incentive. There was a lot of incentive in that game. We just didn't perform. And like I said, I'm not going to pick on the young players. because they have done very well for us last season. They gave everything they had out there. But the older guys and the manager, the older heads, man, what were they doing out there? I mean, we were second to every ball. We were second. We just rolled over for them. So that's the one thing that will stay in my mind. I hope this season we don't.
Likewise, man. I hope so.
Okay. I think we leave it there unless you want to talk about something else.
No, man, I appreciate you having me on the show. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on, because, yeah, I appreciate it. You're after work, you came on, and it's the first time, hopefully not the last time.
Definitely, man. Hopefully not the last.
And when you start your own YouTube channel, I'll support you, you know what I mean? Definitely. I have a lot of subscribers. I can pick up your channel. We can spread the word, and I'll help you out, no problem. Hopefully the season will be good for us. Hopefully we can sign another couple of players. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on, yeah. I appreciate it. Take care of yourself, man. Stay healthy. Stay healthy. Wear a mask.
Yeah, you too, man. Thank you.
And I'll see you later, yeah? Thanks for coming on.
I'll see you soon, man. Thank you.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.